Hi, it's time to complete my series of videos exploring and explaining all that Airspace, ModeAudio's brand new hybrid reverb and stereo delay plugin, can bring to your music. I'm Neil, and for our final outing we're going to cover the plugin's Delay Mod section. Let's go! In a nutshell, this section is designed to modulate and enhance the sound of the main delay section above, using dual LFOs and even a whole other effect to bring character and movement to Airspace's output. Delay Mod is split into three subsections: Delay Time Mod on the left, Pitch Shifting in the middle, and Pan Mod on the right. The controls for Delay Time and Pan Mod are identical, so we can cover them at the same time. Both these subsections use a very slow moving oscillator, also known as an LFO, to gradually change the value of their target parameters. In the case of Delay Mod, this is the delay time for the left and right channels, and for Pan Mod, this is the panning for the left and right channels. Here you can see that we have control over the speed or rate that the LFO moves with, thanks to the mod rate dial, as well as the overall amount of modulation that will be applied to the target parameter with the Time Mod and Pan Mod dials. Finally, in the middle of these dials, we have radio buttons allowing you to assign a different wave shape to either LFO. The selectable shapes are sine wave, triangle, square, random, and smoothed random. We'll hear how these shapes affect the sound in a moment. So, what do these modulations actually do and sound like in practice? We'll begin with delay time. Here's how changing the mod rate and amount dials sounds when applied to a vocal source recording. What's happening here is that as the delay time is being changed with audio running through the delay loop, we hear the reflections change in pitch as the delay speeds up or slows down the sound to accommodate the new delay time value. This results in effects from subtle chorusing to all-out tape stop style warping. Now let's hear how the different selectable LFO shapes affect proceedings. We can hear how the sine and triangle shapes produce smooth, predictable repetitions in the modulated sound, whereas the square wave shape creates a much more stuttering, mechanical effect. Finally, the two random shapes produce exciting, unpredictable results, with the first random shape producing an almost glitchy effect, and the smoothed random shape, my personal favourite, providing us with a meandering, organic sound. You'll have noticed that there's a tempo sync switch located above the rate dial that we've yet to mention. Similar to the one above in the main delay section, this switch simply synchronizes the speed or rate of the delay time or pan mode to your host DAW project's tempo. Engaging this control will again change the units of the mod rate dials from milliseconds to note divisions. Let's hear this in action, but using the pan modulation controls this time. This section pulls the sound from the left delay channel over to the right and vice versa, introducing stereo movement into the plugin's output. We now come to the final section of Airspace's interface that we've yet to discuss, the pitch shifter. Consisting of 3 controls, this subsection is a dedicated pitch shifting effect which can be placed both inside and outside of the delay loop. We'll discuss just what this means shortly, but first let's take a look at this section's 2 dials. On the left, we can set the pitch shift amount in semitones from 2 octaves below the root or natural pitch of our source sound to 2 octaves above. On the right, we can use the shift mix control to blend the dry, non-pitch shifted sound in with the pitch shifted copy. Here's how this sounds with different pitch shift amounts applied. Now to the very last of Airspace's available controls, the recursive shift switch. This is another of my very favourite features of the plugin, which allows you to move the pitch shifter in the signal chain from before, when inactive, to inside, when active, the delay loop. What this means is, when the recursive shift is inactive and placed before the delay loop in the signal chain, a constant pitch shift will be applied to the signal entering the delay module. So in other words, if we set a pitch shift of +7 semitones, or a fifth, with the pitch shift dial, what we'll hear in the output is the original signal with no shift applied, plus a copy of the signal pitch shifted by 7 semitones. However, when recursive shift is engaged, this moves the pitch shifter inside the delay loop, meaning that 7 semitones will be applied to the signal with every successive loop or reflection. So instead of just hearing the signal at the original pitch plus a copy shifted by 7 semitones, we'll also hear the signal shifted by a further 7 semitones on the next loop, 14 semitones above the original pitch in other words, then 21 semitones on the next repeat, and so on. This can create beautiful glissandi-like effects as the delayed signal ascends up or descends down the scale. You can then use the filtering section above in the main delay section to keep the pitches heard to within a fixed range. Okay, let's give this a listen. And that's it! We've now covered Airspace's every dial, slider and switch in detail across these 3 videos. I hope you've enjoyed touring around the plugin and hearing all the things it can offer to your tracks. To purchase the plugin or give the 15-day free trial a spin, please visit modeaudio.com/product/Airspace. And once more, have fun using Airspace!